Hello guys to another ranking video. Thank you for 200 subscribers. Next week will be a very awesome 200 subscribers special. But you know the drill. This is my ranking series. Today you guys have voted for the modulus series. The modulus series was very interesting, which like the original modulus series when there was only one blaster with all the attachments, that was really cool. But it did get kind of out of hand with them just trying shit that didn't work well. And today we're going to take a look at Modulus. Not a bad series whatsoever. Would I say it's a great series? No. It's not bad. It's slightly above mid, I would say. With that, let's get on the list, shall we? Today we have 18 blasters. Starting off at number 18 is the stock strike. The stock shot. Like, come on. Nerf, come up with better names. And this thing was absolutely terrible. It was just, like, it was fine, I guess. 4 shots, Jolt Prime, T-Pull, fine. But, like, what is that stock? Like, as a blaster by itself, it's just terrible. The stock just gets in the way, to be honest. I think you should just cut it off and make it a very small pistol. And then what was even worse was, because this is a stock, you could connect this onto a blaster, and this is the most flimsy thing that they have ever made. Like, I don't even think you could put this on your shoulder. That's how flimsy this thing was. They just flap all over the place. 4 rounds is not worth a stock that doesn't even work. That's why this thing comes in at 18. It is bad. Very bad. At 17 is the blaster stock. Come on, Nerf, come up with something better. I actually own this one, and overall, as a stock, it worked pretty well. It was a good stock. Well, I wouldn't say good, it was decent. Issues was, I don't know why they put a rail attachment on this thing, because it would just not feel good if you're really, getting close to the blaster, putting your cheek on there. It does not feel nice. And then the other issue is this thing is pretty much just like Jolt, but just how it's designed, it is just a crappier Jolt. It is like a 40 FPS Jolt. And to make it worse, the T-pull is if you pulled it too hard, like this thing was flimsy. If you pulled that T-pull too hard, you're ripping it out of the blaster. Like, it's not well secure in this thing whatsoever. But it's just a one-shot stock that had structural issues, and that's why it's 17th. At 16th is the Ion Fire. The Ion Fire is a fun blaster, don't get me wrong, but it is just a one-shot breech loading blaster that takes way too long. It has that really weird rail they put on it with that little lip, and I don't know why. It's kind of pretty stupid. Stock attachment point, which is nice. That is good. Barrel attachment point that can't, like, the barrel it comes with works, but if you use, like, any bigger barrel attachment point, it just kind of hangs there because there's nowhere to actually clip in the little ball part on them. So it just is there and it can fall off, which is not great. Handle is actually pretty comfy. Trigger, Trigger well is kind of small. It's just a one-shot breech loader that's not great. That's all I have to say. It's decent, but it's just not worth it. At 15th, everyone's favorite, the Battle Scout. Battle Scout was actually, I thought, could be a very decent blaster. It had a very cool kind of priming, shotgun prime, with that very interesting, like, triangle thing, which is pretty cool. Stock attachment. Handle looks good. It came with a camera that just sucked, so just throw that away. Issue was it's like a 10 round, harmonica clip, but for some reason it was just terrible. This was the new it was the new, I can't even think of the blaster, but it just did not hit hard at all, and I don't know what the issue was. This thing was terrible. It it was just so weak FPS, it wasn't even worth it. The only one that would even use it was Beret, running it for wars because he thought it was fun. But this thing is bad. And also, it never came with more harmonica mags, so what is the point? Like, what's the point in having a harmonica mag if it's just the one mag? I don't get that. At 14th is an actual good attachment that they had, which is the barrel strike. Wait a minute. Man, these names are similar. Nerf, come on, come up with anything better, like really. Overall, I like the design of this blaster. It's nice, small, and compact. 4 shots again. T-pole once more. But this goes on the front of your barrel, which it's not perfect because the stock is actually in the way of you aiming. That's why it's 14th. It gets in the way, and it's just really, really heavy for what it is. There's also no way it also doesn't have the ball attachment point that really locks in the barrels, so it is still just hanging there. And if you ran around, flipped around too much, it would fall off. But as a blaster, it's pretty decent. 4 shots, smart AR, pretty good little compact thing. It was good. I enjoyed it, but as its actual barrel attachment, it was not great. It has issues. It just took away your vision down the barrels, and it's just not great. At 13, don't get me wrong, but it is the Recon. This guy. I think they did fix it, but this is a top prime magazine fed. This is the other version, but the original one was a little bit different. But its greatest issue was on release. I'm pretty sure they fixed it, but still, just on release, it was just unacceptable at the time, is it would not take all magazines. And there was no reason for it not to take all magazines. For some reason, it just didn't work with some of the Nerf mags, which worked in like the Recon and everything else. It just didn't work with this one. And that's a big problem. Like, I don't think Banana Mags works. I don't think Drums worked either. I think it was just the 12, 18, and 6-round magazines that worked. And that's just pretty bad, to be honest with you. That's just not thinking through stuff. Like Nerf, you can do way better. This was not a better version of the older ones. This was just a worse thing. There we go. Number 12 is the original Recon. The only reason I put this one above the other version is it looks better. I just think it looks better. This is the original one. Both of them, just because this one's lower because of the shield. Like, why is the shield? I don't get, why does it come with a shield where you prime it? That's just weird. It also comes with a stock that holds a mag, but it doesn't come with extra mag, which is dumb. Like, all these attachments are just reused things. This thing actually came with brand new, interesting attachments, so I'll give it that. But just because of the magazine issue, it comes in at 12th and 13th. 11th is the long shot. They released the long shot and had a very cool color scheme. I think this was better than the blue version. I think it looks really cool, and they updated it for not reverse plunger, and it worked. It worked decently. Its issues is how it was in the past, that it also only came with the one magazine, even though knowing it can hold 3, which is really just not good. And why did they put the scope up there? Like, why? Why is the scope way up there? That's my question. But also the barrel is just very long, so you just lose power no matter what. But the shell is a very nice blaster. This thing is good, but it looks like a sniper. It does not even perform even close to the sniper, even though this thing was updated. Coming in at 11th, those are my issues. At 10 is the very first blaster, the modulus. The modulus was just a bigger strife. It was just an oversized strife. It was no reason for it to be that big, but it was. Came with some cool attachments. Came with the stock that could hold extra mag. My issues are the stock was really, really flimsy. Like, you can see the only thing holding it together are two little bars, and that just made it way too flimsy. Also, again, the up top, the nerf rail. Why did they raise it? Like, why? Because of the jam door? You could just make a smaller rail. But no, they had to do that thing that I just don't like. It's like a carry handle or something, but I don't like it. Rev trigger and trigger were fine. Handle wasn't great. And it was just a bigger strife. It was interesting, but it was just fine, really. And also the where you hold it, supposed to hold it, I feel like should have been up further. I don't think it needed a nerf attachment point down there for a handle, because that little gray piece was really, really comfortable. My issue was it was just a little bit too far back. Coming in at 9 is the Tri-Strike. The Tri-Strike is awesome. This thing was beautiful. It was just a recon, but side prime. It did have its problems of jamming, but that's just how all of them really worked. But it came with a rocket that you could take off and make its own blaster, which was awesome, and a front barrel attachment that fired megas. And it was a pump. So all you have to do is push it out, pump it as hard as you can, and it's going to fire a mega. Same with the rocket. You pull out the stock, push it forward, you fire it. This thing was just really, really fun and awesome. It just didn't have a lot of power, to be honest. But that's just how it was back then. But I owned one. It took me a long time to actually complete one, but I did complete it. And it's just fun. This thing is just... It was just fun for how many things it could fire. And I loved it. Like, it's not an amazing blaster, but it's not bad either. The stock also kind of gets in the way of the handle. But overall, it was a good release. It was fun. The commercial was amazing. Coming in at 8 is the modulus, but a better version of it, the Tracer. I've never seen this thing anywhere. I don't know where it came from. I just saw it come up on the Wikipedia. And this thing, same problems as last time, but this thing just looks cool. I like the paint job on it. Don't know why they gave you a clear scope though. A little bit weird, but it came with a brand new front barrel thing that I've never seen that on any other blaster. And it came with a different stock that still holds a magazine that is reinforced, which is the better version of it. And it was just really cool. I think this one only comes with one mag, which kind of sucks, but still, really cool design. And it's just, like I said, a big strife. But with the cool design, I give it a little bit of, leeway. At 7 is, I think no, it's not the best, but it is the best, one of the best mounted blasters that they ever released. The Grip Blaster. Like, come on, Nerf, come up with something better than just Grip Blaster, like, really. But this thing was pretty much the original two-shot Jolt. It's just a bit bigger. The handle and the trigger are just awful. They're just not great. They don't feel good. But it does have a mount on it, so you can mount this under any blaster. And it's pretty dang good. It's just a two-shot Jolt. And it works. It works well. My issues is you really have to hold it when you prime it, because if you just try and prime it, it's going to rip off your blaster. Because it's not that strong holding it on, but it works. It's just a bigger two-shot Jolt, which was fun. And you can mod this thing really a lot, really. I put a big spring in this guy. Bigger than K26, to be honest with you. But it's just a two-shot Jolt. It works. It works good. Coming in at 7th. Nothing really bad to say. At 6 is the mediator stock. The mediator stock is very interesting. I personally never had one, but I think it's just a really, really cool idea. It is a long stock, don't get me wrong. This thing is way longer than it should be, but it is pretty much a stock that holds a Zombie Strike 2-shot blaster. It's rear prime. I think this one has not as good ergonomics as the Zombie Strike one, but it's still pretty dang good. And it even gives you a nerf tactical rail for some reason, because you can't really do anything with it when it's in the stock, which is the full point of this blaster. But yeah, just having a blaster in a stock, I think is just a really, really cool idea. Like, last ditch effort, you grab this thing out of your stock, fire 2 rounds, and it has dart storage. Beautiful. Like I said, the only issue with this guy is it's just really, really long, and I don't think the stock is that comfy, and it's just way too long. Like, you have to be really tall to use this thing. It's just such a long stock that you can't really, manipulate or anything like that. So that's why it's 6. Here we go. 5. The greatest attachment they made. The Mediator barrel. The Mediator is a air tank blaster, smart AR shotgun. It is beautiful. You load 3 rounds in it, you pump it up from the bottom, you press that button on the side, and it fires. And it works. It works well, but because it's smart AR, you don't have to put all 3. You can put 1 in it. It really doesn't make it more powerful, but you can do that. And just having a mounted barrel shotgun is an awesome idea. And something also cool was you can move the barrel, the gray barrel up there, and you can move it to make it a handle, which is pretty bad, to be honest with you, because you still have to hit that button on the side. But it worked. You could use this as an actual blaster, but just as an attachment on a blaster, I don't think they ever made anything better than this. This thing was so cool. It worked. It wasn't amazing, but it did fire 3 rounds. So it was cool. It just is awesome. They should have kept doing stuff like this. They need to bring back air tank blasters like this. It was just awesome. Number 4 is the regulator. The regulator is the one that originally came with that new stock that holds the mag reinforced. Very nice. The other things on it are a bit weird because the scope is just another barrel, which is kind of dumb. And then you also have that handle thing that I don't remember anyone actually using that thing. That thing like instantly went off your blaster the moment you bought it. But overall, the blaster, it is an electric blaster that takes 4C batteries. And you can switch it from 1 shot to hang on. Sorry, you can switch it from semi-auto to 3-round burst to full auto. This thing was really cool for the time. It is definitely not as good as it once was, because that's just how electric blasters really are. It doesn't hit as hard as it should anymore, but it works. It works well. It's just a good blaster. Being able to switch it is awesome. I love this thing in 3-round burst. But it does use that conveyor belt type thing, so it has its issues, but overall, it worked well. The design is not perfect. Like, I don't know why they made, like, this handle thing right next to the actual handle. Like, you're not putting your hand there. Just why? That should have been up there. Get rid of the nerf rail on the bottom and put that up there. That would have made this way better. Also, another issue is when this thing's out, it has a red blinking light that will just not go out unless you load a new mag with at least a dart in it, which it sucks. But overall, the regulator, pretty good blaster. They did a decent job. It worked. So number 4. Number 3 is this guy. This guy is insane and is on sale on Amazon a lot, to be honest with you. Not this version, but the one without all the attachments. Like, they went overboard with this guy. This thing has so many cool, brand new attachments that I have not seen. That stock is pretty dang interesting. But it's just the Demolisher. It's a really good blaster, to be honest with you. One of my favorite electric blasters. It's just a big strife that has a missile launcher on it that you pull out, push forward, and it fires. It's a reskin, but it's a reskin of a good blaster. And for modulus, they gave it as many attachments as it could. And for that, it becomes number 3. My preferred, if they wanted to do this a little bit better, again, same thing, but put an air tank on it to actually fire missiles instead of having this hamp. The hamps aren't good, nerf. No. At 2, I mean, of course, it's the modulus strife, the reskin. It was getting up in prices. This is when the strife was really getting more expensive, but with just the green and the white and the gray, I do like this version of the strife. And the things that come with aren't bad. Like, I like the barrel. It kind of works. The handle, I could care less. Like, it should have had a stock. But overall, I think this is one of the better looking strifes. And the strife is just amazing. It's the smallest flywheeler. Magazine fed. Handles well done. Trigger's decent. Rev trigger is awesome. It's just a beautiful thing. They did not go wrong with it. But with that, what do I put above the strife? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not the greatest flywheeler fan. Strife is amazing, but for the modulus line, they did one better, which is the Mediator. The Mediator is beautiful. This thing is awesome. I love the Mediator. The Mediator is the smallest shotgun prime blaster Nerf has ever made. It fires stuff really, really fast. Like, you can just pump rounds off. And this thing actually hits pretty dang hard. And if it doesn't, because the spring's worn out, this thing is really easy to replace the spring. It works. I've never had a jam with this thing. The magazine is on the side, so that can be an issue for some. It's side loaded. But it has the front barrel and the stock. It usually comes with the shotgun barrel and the gun in the stock, which is even better for this thing. They did everything right with this guy. This thing is one of my favorite springers. It works very well. There's nothing really bad to say about this, and this thing is tiny. You can just throw this thing on your gear on a little sling, and it's just so small, and it works. It works really, really well. And with that, that's my list, guys. That was the modulus line. I feel like the modulus line started strong, but started to whimper out. They really should have done some more stuff, and they started to get a little bit stingy with attachments here and there. But when it was in its light, with all attachments, it was fun. It was a good series. I can't complain about modulus. It was a fun idea. They just should have done more with it, and they didn't. This was like the one really big thing, a big blaster that came out that was loved, and it was really cool. But with that, thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.